welcome. Thank you so much for having us here today. My name is Diamond Doll. I'll be your moderator for this panel, Metaverse Environments and Their Impact on Future Gaming and Business. Today we have a very diverse panel of some incredible influential people in this space who are building those metaverse worlds and bridging the gap between the physical and digital worlds. I'd love if you would give a quick introduction of yourself, what organization you're representing today, and how you're building in the metaverse.
All right. So I'm sitting next to you. I'll just go first. Hi, I'm Joe Way. So I am the Executive Director of Digital Spaces here at UCLA. Greatest title there is, because it tells you nothing about what I do. And really what we do here is we oversee all of the learning environments, not just the physical spaces, the AV that goes into it, but also working on what that looks like moving into the future, where we're taking our learning spaces, where we're taking all of the experiences we have across campus and moving them into the digital world, moving into the virtual world, moving into metaverse, digital twinning, and those types of things. So we're working collaboratively with partners across the campus in order to really reimagine what it looks like to have a learning space on a college campus.
Hi. So I'm Fernanda Fell. I'm a content manager at FlickPlay. My background is basically mostly in journalism and communication. So what I do at FlickPlay is try to translate everything that we are building in a way that is more digestible to everyone who is interested or at some point will be interested in joining the Web3 space. FlickPlay is a platform where you can buy digital toys or digital characters. You can play with them using our AR camera, and you can find experiences connected to them. So everything that you can do with FlickPlay. So from a business perspective, you can join this world of digital products. And from a community perspective, you can share everything that you are doing with your digital toys. We talk a lot about identity, about utility, about community. These are like very strong foundations of FlickPlay. And we are building our marketplace. We are a startup since 2020, am I right? Yeah. And I've been just experiencing, understanding user behavior and trying to facilitate the onboarding of businesses and communities.
Hi, my name is Chris Shadley. I'm CEO of Fishbowl Labs. We have a project called IGL City. IGL City is, when that word metaverse came out, I come from the film industry more than the gaming industry. So what I thought of when I heard metaverse was Ready Player One and the Oasis. And when I looked at the current environment, there wasn't anything that was like that. So what you've been kind of seeing on the screen is our version of what the Oasis could be. It's basically a digital world. Everything from e-commerce down to governance to everything that you can do in the real world, we want you to be able to do in the digital world as well. So we have everything from actual retail stores that you can purchase items directly within the gaming environment itself, to if you're a game developer, and I mean this in the most respectful way, developing the game is the easy part, that back-end infrastructure of like running the servers, multiplayer, all of that type of stuff that goes along with actually getting the game into people's hands. We want to take that away from people and be able to just let the developers come and bring their games to our platform, be able to launch them on there, find a new way of discovery versus being able to gamify discovery of like being able to walk into a store and be able to play a demo of that game versus having to just look at like a list on Steam and see a video play, and then once you pay for that game and you download it, it matches the trailer nothing at all. And then for businesses, make it seamless and easy so that they don't have to integrate anything new. They can just basically give us a website, we can make it work. And then for Web3, make it really easy for onboarding by basically creating custodial wallets in the background, making everything NFT, and then even bridging out to mobile on top of just the PC and desktop. So we'll kind of, branch over that a little bit later, but that's kind of the basis of what IGL City is.
Hey, I'm Eli Alegria. I'm the head of business development and CMO at Yahoo Corp. So Yahoo Corp is, we're kind of an OG project in the Solana space. We're a metaverse that's been around for a while. So we're built in Unreal, extremely high fidelity, and he kind of beat me to the punch. We're kind of looking to create that Ready Player One environment, and we have it's basically an MMO with built-in integrations, native integrations with retail applications, and so we have Honda, Toys R Us as some of our storefront partners already, and some other majors that we can't really discuss at the moment. But yeah, we're really looking to bridge that gap between gaming and kind of disrupt all the sectors that are actually here at this conference. So sporting, whether it's through digital stadiums and immersive fan experiences, kind of like how the NFL just did the simulcast, or retail shopping experiences that, you can see the 3D item. And we're really looking to build a metaverse where every asset in game holds a IRL weight. So, it's attached to an IRL brand, or it has some type of IRL experience attached to it. And that's really what we're looking to create, one of the most kind of diverse, experiential digital worlds that currently exist.
Incredible. And my name is Diamond Doll. As I said, I'm the co-founder of NFT CLT. We produce Web3 edutainment events, bringing community safely into the metaverse and other emerging technology fields, and consult a variety of projects in this space. Let's dig into that bridge between the physical and digital world as you're talking. And I think I'll start with you since you ended on that. We're seeing an increase of convergence, right, between the physical and virtual worlds. How do you think metaverse-enabled physical environments such as AR, virtual reality, or even the worlds that you're creating on desktop and mobile, how do they bridge that gap between the online and offline experiences? Because I think for some people, they don't quite get it. How does the metaverse make their lives better? How does the metaverse solve some problems that we see IRL?
Okay, so kind of piggybacking off the topic of the entire conference, one of the main things that we're looking to disrupt and kind of bridge that gap is, for example, fan experiences with sporting events. So you can imagine if the LA Lakers, for example, they have global fans around the world, and it might be difficult for them to be able to enable fan experiences where they can kind of bring together that fan family and empower that type of interaction. So we're looking to be able to build, whether it's a stadium for them, or skyscrapers, or et cetera, digital experiences where you can have those same type of experiences that you would have in the physical world. So you can imagine an experience like having LeBron James creating a metaversal avatar for him, and you remove all the bandwidth limitations of having to organize a venue, having to only appeal to the local audiences, and you really open yourself up to global audiences. And having those integrations, it kind of goes both ways. So let's say having some QR codes in your physical store that might open up to a portal experience where you can go and further explore and immerse yourself in the brand and in the experience. Really, we think that as everything kind of digitizes, and as fan experiences and as fan kind of interaction goes global, it's really going to need to rely on this digital kind of leg to support it, and really enable and empower those users to really actually feel a connection, whether they're halfway around the world or somewhere just down the block. And so I really think that the digital experience and the digital world is going to be the future of all these experiences. And especially in a post-COVID era where some people are still hesitant to gather in large groups and things like that, the digital kind of limitations, the digital experiences kind of remove all those bandwidth limitations and really empower the companies to be able to curate experiences better, from the UI to the entire design and setup to even things that are not possible in the physical world. Like you can imagine giant avatars or hologram projections, so there's just so many possibilities with digitizing all these experiences, and they really kind of pull together your community from all around the world and give you a central hub that everyone can utilize.
Lovely. Joe, you have something to add?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And I think one of the things that we've noticed that's happened over the last few years is the hyper-personalization of consumerism, right? We're sitting here right outside of Pauley Pavilion, 11 national championships, a place John Wooden made famous, right? And you look at all the students walking by, every one of them is staring at their cell phone. Everyone here in the audience has their cell phone looking at us, right? No one even just looks at anything without it. I'm there Friday night, this last Friday at the opening of the Sphere in Vegas with U2, and I watched the entire thing 20 feet from the stage on my cell phone, right? And that's what the world that we live in now, right? We want everything to be translated through this device that we have, and we want it seamless wherever we go, whether we're at an event, which absolutely right, to our normal grocery shopping, to walk into a store, to walk by 30 feet from a Starbucks and know, hey, by the way, you were at a white chocolate cappuccino last time you were here. Do you want me to order? It'll be ready before you walk through, right? That's the experience we all want, and we have to move our physical into that digital world for that to happen. And all the technologies are there. I mean, we've got 3 incredible, platforms that can do all of these things. What we have to do is have that consumerism now become the go-to, right? We're still not really there yet to say, this is where, and everyone wants it, but we're yet to actually fully trust it as a society. And I think that's the hurdle we're waiting to go over.
We kind of looked into that idea of like, this metaverse is great, but you've got like this world that's built on your computer and you're sitting at a desk and everything you do is there. And mobile is good, but it's not really powerful enough to really like I can't take IGL City and make it a mobile game and actually have it function. But what we can do is we built a back-end infrastructure where like right now we have a mobile game called Beast Run that's based off of an NFT called The Kid Called Beast. It's assets that we own the IP for. And anytime somebody downloads that game and creates an account for IGL or for Beast Run, they're actually creating an account for IGL City. It's the same back end. So we have in-game currency that we call bits that people can collect that we give away that'll be a currency used in IGL City. And anybody playing that mobile game, those bits they collect will automatically credit to their account in the city itself. Same idea when you get into like the retail aspect. We have actual retail stores that you can purchase stuff from, but we can also run promotions with them where if somebody comes into the actual physical store, they can scan a QR code that then gives them a digital item, that the only way to be able to get that item is going through that type of thing. A big part of what we at IGL are trying to do is make sure that when we're building this digital world, we keep one foot in the real world. And taking that to the idea of like in the future doing events with like projection mapping and taking like an environment and actually creating a physical version of our digital world using digital projection mapping and giving that type of experience. And then also, allowing like game developers that come in, and that's great that you're playing the game here, but what if we build you a little side quest that's a mobile game that as you go out, you can earn like that one special skin or that one special weapon, and the only way to get that is on the mobile part of it, but that credits back to the actual main game itself back inside the city. You can kind of have to find that bridge between the mobile, the physical, and then also just the desktop or console, because nobody's going to be in one place at all times. So how do you bring all 3 of those together? And I think that the ideas that we're all kind of bringing up here all together will kind of guide the future of how that happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's totally agree with you with this vision of keeping things in the real world as well. I think at Flick Play we've been inviting people to go out, and we receive from the community that whenever we invite them to go out to unlock a digital product or to get a digital product in their house, but invite them to go in a location-based business to redeem it. They're always game and they're thirsty for this type of experience where you feel engaged and you don't feel isolated in one or another world. You have your community building the same, liking the same things that you like online, but you can also support and explore and find experiences in the real world. And I think it's healthy. I think that's where we have to, whenever we're building, I think we have to keep in mind.
So we're talking about gaming at this summit, and I feel like what each of you are building is kind of redefining that gaming. So I'd love if we could explore that a little bit more. How do you envision metaverse environments transforming traditional gaming experiences? I know IGL City's talking about having differing, desktop versus mobile application. Obviously, Flick Play, you guys lean on geolocated type of activations in order to do so. But I'd love if anyone wanted to talk a little more deeply about the unique opportunities that the new environments of creating metaverses, how they will change gaming.
Well, I think one of the things that Metaverse will do is bring people who aren't gamers into gaming. The idea that you can do things besides go around and shoot people, besides go around and like run through obstacles and things like that. Just the whole idea that like these environments can also be these new versions of social networks as well. Like when you're in I'm sure any of these platforms, we all have like in-voice chat or we have text chat where you can actually, there's games like Second Life, The Sims, all of those. The whole idea of these things are that people have this life and they want this break from reality. That's why we all get into everything we're talking about is entertainment, whether it be sports or something, it's all entertainment. And entertainment is to give you that break from like the reality of whatever your current world is. And so how do you bring in the people that aren't like the hardcore gamers, or aren't gamers at all? And you need to do that with experiences that are experiences versus actual games. But you can gamify all of that in that way. So I think what's going to change is the word gaming is going to become more of like gamified versus an actual game. Like these environments will be gamified and there will be ability to do all of these different things inside of them as well as just play games.
I think really kind of the strength of metaverses is the ability to empower personalization. If you look around, every person has their own unique style, way they want to express themselves, and their social media is kind of an extension of that. But it's kind of not a complete extension. You don't have a representation in terms of an avatar. You can't interact as that. You can't be seen as that. So I think metaverses really empower that aspect of kind of user personalization, and on top of that, really empower kind of seamless transition between experiences. So we can say, let's say I wanted to see an NFL game. I have to tune in there, and what if I want to play games simultaneously or, connected to that? The metaverse kind of ties everything together, so you can have all those experiences in one place. And, if you connect with your friends or, your guild or whoever you play with, you can go and across a wide range of, whether it's retail experiences, digital sport experiences, traditional gaming experiences, and it's a one-stop shop for kind of all those things. Instead of being spread across multiple different platforms, you have one area where you can connect, where you can game, where you can watch sporting events or other type of things. And finally, I think it's really kind of a level playing field within the metaverse, especially with Web3 applications and having a cryptocurrency involved with it. Already there's examples of, for example, there's a game many might be familiar with called RuneScape. And within their virtual economy actually became a large source of income for many countries who have lower GDP, et cetera. And players were able to game and use the gold that they earned in this game to be able to actually pay for the real life bills and expenses. And so having these metaversal applications on Web3, where you can use pay to earn mechanics, it empowers users and it also empowers brands to kind of align incentives. So now the user is, incentivized to go watch these trailers or go check out this phygital location or, whatever the case may be. So it's aligning incentives and it's furthering kind of even advertising it. So, within our world, we can have heat maps of exactly where our players are located for prime advertising real estate, prime retail real estate, and it really kind of empowers both sides of the spectrum and aligns users. And then finally, the ownership aspect, actually owning the assets, where they can't be revoked by the gaming studio, or if they shut down, all your hard-earned money or your time played would be spent. Having that blockchain infrastructure underneath these metaverses really kind of takes it to a whole new level.
What's interesting, and going off of what you both just said, the PhD in me makes me need to have to give facts to this, because you're absolutely right. So fun fact, the demographic today, age 13 to 25, is known more by their Instagram handle than their own first name. Okay. We already have branded ourselves from the time we got a cell phone, right? If you look at the two most lucrative careers of the 13 to 25-year-old demographic, number one is social media influencer, number two is sports athlete. Okay, so what does that tell you of what the next demographic is looking for, right? And where our future is going, right? We already know that gaming was already a younger demographic thing, right? Now it's moving. As the younger demographics are now turning into adults, into family people, they are wanting to now take those lives and make them part of who they are, right? And so if we're looking at, the theme of this, business and gaming, the more we can help someone monetize and make their personal brand that they've already done themselves the day they signed up for an Instagram account, right? Now we can bring that into the virtual worlds. We can bring that into the monetary worlds. We can bring that into the areas where they want to see their future. The more possibilities there are. And that's why we have to, I love when you said gamify, not necessarily gaming, but gamifying the world, because that's exactly where, this next...
In some ways, it also levels the playing field. Because, me as a single person, I could get into like a metaverse world, like anything that we're talking about here. And if I'm putting forward a presence that people enjoy and align to, I don't have to be a giant brand in order to get noticed. I can start building that brand from that point. And you can do it in a way that you've got not only a way to talk about things, but like visual representation. You can create your own environments, your own worlds, your own avatars, your own everything. And then you can monetize off of all of that. And you don't have to be a giant studio to do that. Like what you're seeing from IGL Studio, that's built by 5 people. Like we're not a giant company. This is all self-funded with 5 people. And so you don't have to be, an EA or, a Blizzard or some giant company. And I think that's one of the biggest things about this is it really kind of leveled the playing field for us.
Sounds like there's a few benefits. One, for users in the metaverse, you get to brand yourself. You get to really choose your identity. I mean, my real name's not Diamond Doll, if you didn't know.
You were the example of that.
I go by my tag. And then the revenue streams, that's a huge piece of why this is important, right? Because it's not only creating new revenue streams for you as a business and opportunities to showcase your brand, but also your users. With that being said, we talk about advertising a lot in the metaverse as a revenue stream opportunity, but I think people still have a lack of trust, and you mentioned this, in terms of the metaverse space as a whole. As builders of the metaverse and bridging that gap, what are some tips or things that you guys are keeping at the forefront to encourage diversity, to encourage inclusion, and make sure that it's a safe space for everyone, right? We have folks who are identifying as neurodivergent heavily in this emerging tech space, and have other maybe disabilities or things like that, but want to participate in gaming and metaverse experiences. Any insights you could provide?
Yes. Corporate America was not built by diverse people or for diverse people. And diversity, we had to fight to have a spot on the table. We had to fight to have a microphone in our hands, and we still have to fight to be heard. So the only way to make sure that we are building a safe and inclusive metaverse is making sure that when we walk in a room, we are seeing a diverse group of people. There is no other way to build a safe space, a diverse space, if people don't have the power in their hands, or they are not decision makers. So, and I truly don't believe that the people who are building metaverse, who are building this new space, we will allow that to happen. It will be diverse. There is no other way. There is no other way to succeed. So I think it's our obligation to every room we walk in, we look around, and if we don't see diversity, we have a problem, and we have to speak up about it.
One of the ways that we're kind of working with that as well is we're doing a full governance system. So if you think of the reason we call it IGL City is it's an ecosystem. Basically, it functions like a real world. So everybody that joins IGL City and pays for a membership will get governance token. I mean, you've got all of these people playing your game. Who's the better focus group than the people that are there? So all of these companies spend this money to get these focus groups to tell them how to build this game, and then the players get the game and they're like, that's crap. Why not go to the players themselves? And using blockchain technology and using all of that, we can actually guarantee that every member of our ecosystem actually gets a voice in that. And we can also then go through using that blockchain technology to also keep people safe. We can age gate content, and we can do that through third-party KYC token verification. So in order to actually be able to see content, like let's say we're selling cannabis, or alcohol ads or things like that, we don't want to be showing those to 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds. So there's an age gate token that we can then do through a third-party KYC that verifies that you are over the legal age, and if you are, then that content will be displayed. If not, then you'll get age-appropriate content. And I think that's very important that we as builders keep that type of stuff in mind as well.
That's amazing. I mean, that would have solved the problem, for example, a company like Juul, who was, got a big slap on the wrist, right, for being in spaces where they couldn't token gate their content and their advertising. So that's a huge benefit and a great solution to that problem.
And we do it through third party. That way we as a company are not saying that we're verifying that information. We're not beholden to all the governments on saying that that's all verified. There are companies that already do that. So we let them take care of that and manage it. And they have all of that security and everything in place. So there's no point in reinventing the wheel at that point.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of that, things like DAOs definitely empower the user base to have a voice, each user, and customization options like I mentioned, so you can be represented as, whatever you feel like or however you feel best represents you. And then kind of on top of that, really, we look at it also from a game design perspective. So we actually bake into our game design philosophy, rewarding users for positive social interactions. We don't want to try to set a bunch of rules and regulations because gamers are going to game the way they want to. But what we do is, for our system, we have almost like a karma system where, if you are a positive member within the community, not only might you get highlighted from our posts or in Discord or other special commendations, but you'll actually get in-game rewards. So we incentivize the user base to actually be positive and really foster that sense of inclusion and community.
Yeah, I love that. This is really important because as we move into the Web3 world and even going into DeFi, I mean, the strengths of those two things are anonymity, freedom, and possibility for true equity. The worst things about Web3 and DeFi are anonymity, freedom, and the possibility of true equity, right? Because bad actors are going to take the things that can make it actually equitable, the things that can make it the equalizer that we want it to be, the things that give everyone opportunities. Also, by nature, it has the ability to allow, exactly what it's supposed to be stopping, right? And that now, I don't know that we've gotten a solution. I love what you're saying. If you can, have KYC, when you can do these things, when we know that those who are creating the platforms are trustworthy people. If you look at a lot of the space right now, people are hiding behind avatars. You're not going to get general acceptance in society when people are sitting there and you go to their website and it's 5 avatars, right? And that's just the truth right now. So showing up in public, being out there is what we need to do in order to get mass adoption.
It's interesting to me that for some reason when we go into this Web3 world, everybody seems to think that business changed. Like the way businesses run are different. It's like if you go look at any major corporation that you can drive down the street or you can buy something from, you can find out who the executives, the people and stuff are. But a lot of these like kind of Web3 projects, again, it's you can get to a website and there's some random name with some picture that's like an animated character or something. And how do you build trust into that? Like, I think the thing that people forget is that at its core, this is still business and business still runs in the way that business runs. And how do we work within those confines and slowly start to change that to make it so that the business runs in the way that it should versus the way that it currently is?
And I think for mass adoption, at least how we're kind of tackling the problem is kind of multifold. One thing we're doing is looking to partner with major Web2 companies that are already very credible. So, if you see a Nike store, you're going to understand, oh, this is a credible organization. They wouldn't partner with just anybody, or Honda, etc. So tackling it from that end. And on top of that, being extremely transparent in all our decision making and kind of removing the stigma of Web3. So, you hear NFTs, a lot of people think scam or liquidity, scams, things like that. And so what we look to do is make sure we have everything extremely transparent and really kind of remove, because in every other industry, the background technologies are just that, in the background. It seems in Web3 that's the only place where the background technology is pushed to the forefront.
And that's also what's pushing people away.
Yeah, exactly. And so we, for example, we just partnered with Immutable X, where they have a platform that allows for invisible wallet creation, that allows for, normal ways that people interface, signing in with Google, for example, and your wallet's created in the background, and you get to enjoy the benefit of Web3 without having to understand all the complexities, without, all that kind of trust loss.
And when you talk about Web3 and blockchain, that's really, like you said, a supporting technology for the metaverse. And we're wrapping up on our time, so I'd like to close out thinking about the future of metaverses. So when we look ahead, what do you see as the most exciting and transformative developments? Feel free to expound on blockchain or Web3 if you want to, but what will also be their impact on gaming and the business of the metaverse?
I think digital ownership is really the main key. I mean, you can even look at just recently, like Activision turned off, I believe it was a Call of Duty server, and like every bit of everything that everybody bought for that specific thing was just gone. And now there's class action lawsuit going out against that type of thing. And it's the idea that the money that you're putting in isn't lost. And I think nowadays especially, everybody is so intent on like everything is going up in price, everything's more expensive. It's like you actually want to have that ownership. And the idea that somebody can just take that stuff away from you as digital assets is why people are steering away from the digital assets, because it's like, oh yeah, I own that, but then at that moment, somebody can just like turn the servers off and it's gone. Well, with Web3 technology and NFT, the idea of just these pictures and floor price and blah, blah, blah needs to go away. And look at what the underlying technology of that is. It's an immutable, ledger that says that whoever owns this token owns that IP, and nobody can take that away. And I think that's where the future is going to change, is that real true value of ownership. And getting people to understand that, you're going to have to do it in a way where it's simple and easy and frictionless. And in the gaming world especially, it's got to be as easy as just signing into Xbox Live, or you're never going to get mass adoption.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm extremely excited to see mass adoption, to simplify the process for mass adoption, when users finally understand the concept of ownership from a very simple standpoint, without all the new wording that we created with Web3. And they understand that that's what they've been fighting and trying to get with Web2, and it's so hard to own the content that you are putting out there, everything that you are creating, to own your audience, that you are always like building in these platforms that you just don't know what's gonna happen the next month. I think when people understand the power of ownership, I think when businesses understand the power of a digital product, we will see a new wave of innovation technology, and not a way to make business, but a way to interact with communities.
Yeah, I honestly, for me, really the biggest development or disruption that I see from metaverses is really transforming kind of the way we interface with the world and every aspect of entertainment. I think probably within the next 10 to 20 years, the metaverses will be the primary way in which we engage with any form of entertainment, whether it's the NFL, NBA. I was listening to the speakers in there, and they were mentioning how the younger demographics, the attention span's a lot lower, and even 15-second videos are too long for them. And so gaming really kind of provides a solution for that, having interactive experiences that actually are engaging, not just being a passive watcher of a sport or a movie, etc., having a way to really interface with these experiences and really capturing that attention span of the younger demographic that's going to grow up to be the primary consumer base. And so I see that across every sector. Metaverses provide almost like an Amazon, but having digital storefronts, etc., but even an enhanced experience, because you can see the digital assets in 3D, you can model them on your character, so I see disruption across every really sector that's present here, and I think metaverse is going to be the future of pretty much every experience that you have going forward.
Well, and I think that you're also going to get into, like, as the AR technology really changes, when, like, most people kind of missed it, but Meta announced, Ray-Bans that are AR. And so the digital metaverses are going to be able to make it to where, we see each other in the real world the way we perceive each other in the metaverse as well.
Yeah, no, and right off that, so to me, I think the one thing is personalized generative AI, I think is really the biggest thing that has the biggest impact in the future. One of the things that's dear to me, and being here at work, office right there, is accessibility. And I think that that's one of the things we haven't really even talked about yet. I think about when people create, metaverses or whatever, they create digital art and they do, let's take a Star Wars laser sequence in red and green, lasers flying around. So you didn't care that someone might be colorblind and has no idea what's going on that screen, right? Or, what if you are, now that we are a global society, right? How many different languages might appear in one metaverse and want to talk to each other? Why do we default to English? Why can't we use personalized generative AI so that someone is hearing and speaking or talking in their own native language and getting it translated onto the other side, right? With no other impact other than it naturally happens, right? Those are the things that I think we want to move into and have the most impact in the future.
Thank you so much. That is our time. We appreciate you. Please make sure to introduce yourself if you want to follow them in the virtual metaverse world and give you all the contacts you need. See you soon.
Thank you.